Hello. See that big as I can be. Yeah. Okay, so this is a video. I'm going to try to show a couple of things. One, you can use Ionic Capacitor without creating your project with Ionic. So a while ago, and I'll include a link to the video, I created this simple application. I created this simple application using some React components and Vite. So you can see here, there's the Vite project, Vite package. That's what I'm running. And so now we're going to try to use this nifty Ionic capacitor. Well, I guess it's not a capacitor. It's called an Ionic VS Code extension. So where are my extensions? So here, let's see if I can find this guy. Ionic. So is this what I'm using? Yes. So let me move my head out of the way. This is a new Ionic extension. I don't want to create an Ionic project, so I have a Vite project, but I want to kind of show, like, can I really use Capacitor without starting from an Ionic project? And so that's what we got here. So hopefully this won't be long, but I'm going to try to figure this out along the way with you guys. So please make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know if you like this type of content, and I'll see what I can do about it. So let's shrink the head. Let's stay down here in this corner. I can stay a little bigger for now. So we're going to stay down here. And we will also, I'll include the link about this Ionic component. So now let's go back to our project. Okay, so let's click on the Ionic thing, and see here it says run on web. Now I don't think it's going to run on web because it doesn't have specific scripts, but we can kind of work through and see how we get the scripts together that's going to require it to work. So let's click run on web and see what we get. So you can tell right now by seeing it's showing this Ionic serve, so it's not going to be happy. So if this project would like to run with Ionic run, I don't know if I do an Ionic serve can only be run on Ionic project. If this is a project you would like to integrate with Ionic, run Ionic init. I don't know if that's really what I want to do. So actually I have a backup of this, so let's just follow the directions and see what happens if I run Ionic init. So let's create a terminal. And let's do, what's going on here? This is where I'm running it. Let's do Control C, and let's do Ionic init. Let's see what this does. T. Okay, let's say custom Ionic project has been initialized. So let's see, did it create anything? I have an Ionic config, so yes it did. It created custom. So now I have a custom Ionic project. So I guess it works. So let's change this back to what I want it to be. This is my Ionic Vite React. Well, let's change that there. Okay, so now it's been customized. All right, so let's go back to the instructions and let's try to run on web again. Cannot perform serve since you're using custom project type. You must provide an Ionic serve npm script so the CLI can serve your product. So we need something for Ionic's looking for Ionic serve. So let's go to our package JSON, and I think, so let's close this. When I try to run this normally, let's go to my terminal. I'm typing npm run dev. So I think this is what I need to, we'll keep that there, but let's do an Ionic. Let's do an Ionic serve. And then let's put this in, come on. This guy in quotes, and then just say Vite. And put this in quotes. And let's see if this gives us what we want. So let's save this and let's say run on web. And we can run on web. Awesomeness. So that's the first step. Okay, now let's see if we can get this thing to debug. So let's stop. So it's stopped, it's not running on web anymore. Now let's see if I can, okay, so click debug on web. Let's see what we get. Let's put a breakpoint inside somewhere in our app. Let's go into my app.jsx. Go here after it loads everything up, right here. Debugger. And now let's click debug on web. See what we get. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, all right, let's see. It opened a new window. Here it is. It looks like it launched my app, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. Uh-oh, my fan's kicking up, but y'all can hear it. So now it hit my breakpoint, and let's do, well, I'm not modifying that, so let's see if I can go to home page. This is my home page. Let's go back. So let's put a breakpoint inside the render of my, up there. Can I do it down here? Let's see what happens. Actually, let's put it inside my swipes since I know it'll take a breakpoint there. And now let's continue to run my app. My app is running. I think my modal is where my swipes are. Let's see. Here's my modal. Still debugging. Well, let's move my head. Let's see if I say go forward. It hits my breakpoint. So it looks like I now have my Vite app set up as an Ionic project using the Ionic plugin to debug inside of Visual Studio Code, which is pretty awesome. So let's see if I can kind of find something here. So these are all my modules, closures, my home page, my swiper instance. Here's my call stack. And so I'm able to get all the kind of debug everything right here inside of Visual Studio Code using this Ionic tool. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, let's clear these. So we've shown we're able to run it and we are able to debug. So let's stop. So now the next thing we want to try to do is let's take a look here at, so let's stop debugging. So we're going to clearly, so for those who don't know, using Capacitor, you have to be able to build this thing. So let's see if we can actually build this. So let's click on the build and see what happens. Build, it says building. Cannot build since you're using custom type. You must provide an Ionic build script to build. I expected. So let's go back to our package JSON. This looks like how you build. So let's add our Ionic build. Ionic build. And then let's just copy this. And do a build. It's okay. Out from build. All right, so now it's doing an npx Ionic build, and it's calling a build statement, then it's doing a Vite build. Then it should be creating a build directory. It looks like I have my dist directory being created here, which is what we wanted. And the build is complete. We're not going to worry about these warnings right now. We're just trying to show how you can use this Ionic tooling to kind of get a mobile app from your web application. So next, so now we know we need to build. So now let's go back here and see what, here's my scripts, Ionic server, Ionic build. Let's see, let's add capacitor integration. Add capacitor to this project. Looks like it's added some plugins. Do we get any output from that add? So it says it's added configuration, and let's add iOS to the project. So let's click that. Adding iOS support. Add iOS support to capacitor. Oh, that's the alert. So yes, add iOS support. So now it's adding it. Okay, adding Xcode project. Added sync could not run, missing www directory. Oh, all right. So this is the problem. It thinks that the distribution is in www. I need to tell it that it's in the dist directory. So let's go. Actually, that would be cool if I could configure that in here. Let's see. Can I configure it in here? No, it looks like I cannot. Yeah, let's see when I click on configuration. Build number, nope, can't configure it in here either. Can't configure it there. So I guess I'm gonna have to go in and edit the capacitor file directly. It would be cool if I could edit it in here, but let's see. Let's go into config, capacitor config, change this to dist, save. That would be something I think would be cool if I could edit. So now let's go back to our plugin and let's say, so I add iOS, and now let's run on iOS, see what it's doing. That's interesting. It's trying to find devices first. So I think what's happening is I don't have, oh, it just stopped. What happened? Here's my output. That's interesting. I didn't get any output. Problems, output, debug console. Nope. Terminal. Nope. I was hoping to get some information somewhere on kind of what went wrong. But it looks like I'm not going to get it. I believe what happened is that it doesn't have, it couldn't open up my simulator. And so that's why it just kind of hung. But let's add that. I'm going to have to watch this video myself to find all these challenges that I ran into and kind of suggestions. All right, so now let's get this emulator over here to the side. Let's try run on iOS again. All right, now it looks like it's odd. Oh, that's really odd. So it looks like it didn't need that. All right, let's run it. I got my iPhone 11 open, so I'll just select that one. So it's copying over the web assets. It's creating the capacitor config, updating the plugins. Like I said, my machine is breathing heavily. That's what I call it when the fan kicks in like this. This alert is kind of in a weird place because it kind of sits on top of everything, so it's hard to see what's going on back here. Let this run. Yeah, it looks like it's a building. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected, but it's still moving along. I think it's going to be a while this very first time when it is loading up everything. But I didn't honestly think it was going to be this long. This is going to come in over a couple of minutes. What we'll do is after we get the first one done, we'll run it again and see if this was just kind of a delay for the initial setup, which is what I expect we have going on. Okay. So we finally have our phone here. Okay, finally deploying. See, it took a while. You can see here, this is like over 2 minutes. So that was a minute, 3 minutes. 40, well, I mean, this is definitely a little painful the first time. Not certain why, if it's my machine or not. Okay, here we go. It finally launched and it's running. Whoa. Let's see if it's doing the thing it's supposed to do. Detail page, back, modal. I didn't have my safe area here. forward, but that all can be added, close. So I've taken my plain web-based Vite application, integrated it with Ionic Capacitor, because I'm going to be very specific instead of just saying Ionic Capacitor. I use the Ionic React components for the UI, and I'm using Ionic Capacitor to deploy to a mobile device. And I was able to do it using the new plugin. The new extension. And then, let's see, what do we got here? This is interesting. I guess to me, the interesting change is I had to make the change to add these Ionic serve commands in here. I'm not going to add an Android project right now. It's got some basic plugins. Maybe in the next video, I'll show how to add some additional plugins. And then I'm able to build. Let's see if I can make a change to get this to build a little bit faster again. Let's go and let's move my head back down here. Let's try and make this a little bit bigger. And let's go to my home. Here's my home page. Let's go back here. Source app. I remember this example. I crammed everything inside of one at the app level, which I probably shouldn't have done, but it is what it is. So let's change that button. Detail. So we're going to change that. And then now we're going to go back and kind of just do a new build. A new run on iOS. This is interesting. Why do I have to select all this again? Oh, let me try another approach. Can I just sync? Let's see what's going to happen. I think sync is just going to move the web stuff. Now let's see. An error occurred while running subprocess capacitor, init Ionic Vite ReactJS on an npm client, npm execute code. You're running this command with the verbal select might provide more information. Click OK, and let's see what actually happened. Whoa. Where did this come from? Capacitor init. Oh, when I ran sync. Oh, that's interesting. Why did it run and then capacitor core when I ran sync? Capacitor init Vite React Ionic Soda npm client npm. All right, let me see exactly what I did to kick that error off. Is it sync? It seems like it is sync. That's interesting. That is something I don't know, which I will open an issue in with the plugin on why it's doing that. I don't know this unknown option npm client, which is interesting. So let's see if did it sync everything? Looks like it did not sync anything. So let's see if so how can I get it to run again? Looks like when I run, let's start off this over again. So if I run it, it's going to ask me for my device again, which is kind of annoying. But I can select my iPhone 11 again. Hopefully this happens quicker because it already has a device. So it looks like it's copying the web assets, which is the sync that I want. It's found the device. It's building way faster, but it did not get my change. Oh, because I just did the run. So it looks like I've got to do the build first, which is bizarre. I thought the run would get it. Let's go down here. npm cap run iOS. Yeah, the run's not getting it. So it looks like I got to do, it would be nice if the run did the build too, but it looks like I got to do my build first. So let's go down here. So I need to build it all. Let's get the package JSON and see if there's a way. Yeah, it looks like I have to build it. And then after the build's complete, then if I run it, because when I run, this is really annoying that it's not remembering my device. Now when I run it, it's going to sync the assets from the dist. If I go back here, it's going to sync the data from the dist, but only after I run it, and then I get my changes. So there's a couple of things which are kind of interesting that, like, as I said, I will open some issues. One is, why isn't my sync working? Maybe there's a straightforward answer to that. When I get the answer, I will update this video. So why isn't my sync working? Why do I have to keep setting my device? And then the last one would be, let's go back here. Oh yeah, it would be nice if there was a way to configure, not my Ionic config, but even, I mean, I guess my capacitor config. Do I want to, yeah, because I had to manually go in and change that. But I think the bigger thing is, because once you get the project set up, what you really want to do is just easily run this thing. And right now, it's not easy to rerun it because sync is crashing, and I don't know why. When I say run on iOS, it doesn't rebuild. So it's like multiple steps I need to build and then I need to run. And so that I find a little bit annoying. And then the other thing is, like, it says debug on web. I don't want to debug on web. I really want this to be able to debug on device. And so I wonder, is there a way to configure this to debug on device? So that would be interesting to figure out a way to configure that. I'm certain there's a way to do it, since I know I can do it from the command line. It would be nice if there was a way. I bet there's a way to modify a launch file to do that. So I'll open up another issue about that as your way to do it. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with what we're able to do so far. I'll dabble with this a little bit more, and I'll update you on what I find. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Please make sure you like, subscribe, leave your comments and feedback below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, and bye.